Hello and welcome to the Daily Weekly Podcast. I'm Bradley.
I'm Jake. You can find me on Twitter at @MoonToMakes. And episode 2.
I would say you could find me on Twitter at BradleyJamieS, although I'm having some issues and my account doesn't currently exist.
Oh, but you will be able to find him on Twitter at BradleyJamieS, hopefully.
Yes. So don't forget me. I'll be there.
So we're here. We've actually stayed consistent for a second week. I mean, that's a good start, surely.
It is. I mean, if you asked me, did I see this coming? Who knows? But here we are. Yep. We're going with it, hoping to improve each week.
Yep, we're trying an entirely new recording setup, so hopefully it works out well.
Yes.
And then, like the magic of the movies, if anything goes wrong, we'll just cut it out. So.
Exactly.
So let's get into it, I guess. So obviously Monday 6 p.m. first episode released. I think it went pretty well for just a little podcast on YouTube. It done well over 100 views in the first 24 hours. Got quite a few new subs. I think it ended up really well.
Yeah, I agree. I was a bit nervous about it going up and thinking, oh, what's going to happen, But so far, the feedback's been really good. And I just want to mention one thing.
Yeah.
Last night I was just prepping for this and I got a phone call from a friend who said, oh my God, I've just heard your podcast. It was great. And I was like, wow, really?
Yeah.
And it was lovely. I didn't expect it. And she was like, oh yeah, I loved it,
Yeah, when you told me about it, that made my day. I mean, so yeah, shout out to you.
Definitely. Yes. I'm not gonna say your name, but you know who you are. I told you I'd mention you in this, and there you go.
So yeah, just thank you, I guess. We're going to be here for every week as long as we can, really. We've kind of established a new way of sort of doing these episodes. It's going to be a bit less note heavy as the first episode was, and we mentioned in episode 1 that we did a little kind of rehearsal, so to speak. We're not doing that anymore. We're literally going in blind, and I think that's probably the best way to go about this.
Yeah, definitely. This is what you're hearing is what we're doing right now. This is it. So
yes, the first time we've talked about pretty much any of the stuff in this podcast. As I said, obviously we've I hope it's obvious, we've changed our recording setup. We're now doing the proper podcast thing of recording each of our audio individually. So in episode 1 there was a lot of cutouts and, one of our voices would end like too soon or whatever. So recording it separately should help. And it's pretty much it's a work in progress at the moment. We're we're still testing the waters, see what works, see what doesn't. And it can only go up from here, really.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one of the things that I found funny about last week's episode is I did actually introduce myself and say my name, although it didn't get picked up at all.
See, that's the thing. Where we obviously we call on Discord and then record it individually now. Where I was just recording pretty much my voiceover and Discord, it was very reliant on my internet connection as to what you'd hear from you. So apologies about that, but as I said, it should hopefully be better now.
And most of you listening, you know who we are. I mean, yeah, you know me. Everyone knows me, don't they?
Yeah, big famous Bradley.
That's me. Oh. So I think we should mention we got some big plans coming up.
We do. We definitely do.
Yes. We hope to do more than just this. We're still going to do the big episodes, but we're thinking of, spicing it up, chucking some extra things during the week.
Yeah. So, we've talked between ourselves about sort of, I guess, bonus videos that are going to be a bit more kind of high production. I'll be editing them a lot more and we've got some like unique ideas to vary it up from the podcast so that you lot don't get bored, we don't get bored, and it just adds that kind of little bit of spice to the channel.
Yeah, and they're not all going to be like over an hour long. Some of these will be a lot shorter. Some will be around the same. So there'll be plenty of variety.
Yeah,
shall we say?
Essentially Mondays 6 p.m. every week. That's our consistent. You'll get a podcast that's between, I'd say, 45 minutes to 2 hours long. That's quite a bit. That's quite a big margin now that I think about it. But you'll get a lengthy. You'll get a lengthy podcast. But then we might decide, hey, we want to play X game on a bonus video, or we want to do like we talked about, a quiz, and
yes,
or just like a general discussion video. Like it could just be something fun just to vary it up.
Yeah, so we're not going to set a dedicated schedule to that. It'll be a surprise, a nice surprise for you.
So yeah, it'll be pretty much whenever we actually have a little burst of creativity and think of a video idea that could work and that we can do at the moment from the confines of our own homes. And I guess we'll try to get. I don't make any promises, but maybe one of those videos every 2-3 weeks, something like that.
Yes. And I know you're currently working hard for some behind the scenes work on one of the things.
Yes, I am.
Shall we say anything? Or are we going to keep that secret?
Keep it secret.
I agree.
I mean, I guess we can tease it. Just how do we tease that?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know. Without giving it away. But now we've mentioned it, so we have to say something.
I mean, in the for the title of the video, it gives away what it is, so we can't even really mention that.
Yeah. Oh.
Tell you what, the teaser will be, it involves the two of us asking each other questions. There we go.
Yes.
There we go. And
that'll do.
Yeah, so I'm working on some behind the scenes stuff. I'm sure we'll do some planning on it because we haven't actually started planning. I've just kind of started a very small section of it.
Just having a little mess around, seeing what we can come up with, and
but definitely.
It's all part of the plan.
I think that's a cracking video idea, to be honest.
Oh, definitely. I was like, oh my god, this would be great. It's I think it'll be entertaining.
And I think it's something that we could include in the main show every week, but I think it works better as its own kind of little video because I can edit it more heavily. We can, cut out any bits that aren't really funny or entertaining, whereas a podcast is purely us rambling for an hour or so. So
pretty much.
Yeah.
Look at that. We're on episode 2. We're already planning spin-offs.
A spin-off.
Well, it isn't, but it's not the main thing. But before you know it, there'll be a whole cinematic universe based on this.
Yeah. Well, what would that be? That's DWPCU.
Yes, we'll have to work on that name.
It's fairly lengthy.
But if anyone out there has got some ideas for our universal name for this thing that probably isn't going to happen, let us know.
Yeah. I mean, you say probably won't happen. It's a bit of a pipe dream, but we can certainly try. We can definitely try. So,
exactly.
So, also, I'm going off our notes here. Could eventually turn into filmed episodes and not just audio. So I mentioned this to you about, sort of more kind of milestone episodes.
Yes. Yeah.
I mentioned that provided we, are actually consistent and stay motivated, then for a Christmas episode we could, meet up and actually record a proper podcast. And I've been thinking since then, we could do a live podcast one time.
We could.
It'll be fun. Yeah, there's a lot we can do with this.
There's a lot we can do, but we're starting off with this, and we're going to keep with this and see what happens.
Yeah. And I think like no matter what, it's it's fun nonetheless. Like we really enjoyed doing the first episode. We were both just nervous as all hell for the release of it because we didn't know how it would go down. I have limited experience in content creation in terms of videos and streams and stuff, and you're still fairly new to this, so
yeah, I'm just going with the flow. I have no idea what I'm doing, but that's the beauty of it,
It really is.
It's all part of the journey.
Yeah. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey.
Exactly. And the next part of the journey, I think, is we should mention what we've been doing. What challenge did we set ourselves off air?
That was a cracking transition. Yeah,
it was.
You really,
That was well executed.
Basically, after episode 1, like after we finished recording it, we realised we have nothing else to talk about now. Because, we're still waiting all our shows to come back from the, however long this hiatus is going to be. So we decided, let's just look on Netflix. We're going to pick 2 movies. I pick one, you pick one.
Yeah.
And then we'll review it. It doesn't matter when the movie came out, what genre it is. Just if it's a movie that we think's interesting, then we'll watch it. And do you want to mention what movie I tasked you with watching this week?
Yeah, okay. So Jake picked me a film called In the Shadow of the Moon. It's on Netflix, came out in 2019, and I'd never heard of it before. And, I'd seen it on Netflix recently as I joined again, but I thought, maybe I'll get round to it. I'm a bit of a slacker when it comes to watching things, which that is changing for this.
I was going to say, for a podcast that talks about TV and movies,
yeah. I'm the right man for that job.
Yeah. Whereas I do nothing with my life and only watch TVs and movies.
Yeah, I mean...
So
you picked this film out for me, and I don't know what to expect.
Yeah, I first watched it, I think, November of last year.
Yeah.
I think. And I watched it because someone I was watching on YouTube, I can't for the life of me remember who it is, just mentioned it in passing and sort of the kind of rough concept. And, at the time I was incredibly bored, had nothing better to do in my time. So I looked it up. I thought the description of it sounded pretty interesting. Bradley, if you would like to do the honours as our pro voice actor on this podcast.
A Philadelphia police officer struggles with a lifelong obsession to track down a mysterious serial killer whose crimes defy explanation.
Yeah, it's
interesting.
It's a really... I guess, actually, because... Well, you said to me, obviously, that we completely neglected to mention that there are spoilers.
Oh, God. We've just nearly done it again.
If we're talking about something in this podcast, just assume there's going to be spoilers.
Yes.
We're having a general discussion. But yeah, spoiler kind of warning for In the Shadow of the Moon and the other movie, which until we name it after this, I shall not name.
Yes.
That was a very weird way of wording that.
It was.
I
just want to apologise to anyone from last week if it was certain things were spoiled. We were just...
Yeah.
We got carried away with the talk, Heated discussion. Yeah. It was... Yes. Anyway, back to In the Shadow of the Moon.
Yeah, what did you think?
When it started off, I thought, okay, yeah, this is going to be good. It seems like a typical crime thriller. How does this happen? What's going on? I was hooked straight away, and especially that intro shot of the 2024 kind of dystopian city, and I was thinking, what is going on here?
Yeah.
I was like, wow, okay, this is going to be interesting. So I was like, all right, we're going to see what happens. We're going to see how it all goes.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes back to, I think it was, what year was it? I think it was 1998. It was 88. Sorry.
Yeah, 88, yeah.
Yes. So we start off with our main character, Tommy Lockhart, police officer, just doing his job. And he's thinking, wow, this is weird. How can, when it's like the 3 murders, happening all at the same time, the same way, what's going on here?
And can I just say that the shots of the, I believe, I haven't watched it in a while, but, that bus driver, the orchestra, just, like, it's not, a film for kids at all.
Oh, no,
it's pretty, pretty gory, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. That opening scene, it's just so eerie, you see all these people just, like their noses start bleeding, their ears start bleeding, their eyes start bleeding.
And they have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh. But it definitely hooks you in from the start. It gets straight to it and you're thinking, wow, why, what, when, how, huh?
Yeah. And, we both, we like kind of old school kind of detective thrillers kind of thing.
Yeah.
But we also both like sci-fi, and this is where it kind of comes into it. So I believe it's 9 years later, catch up with, same police officer, still doing his regular job as far as I can remember.
Yeah.
And then the same set of crimes happen again. Identical crime, like identical circumstances. And, the one kind of consistent factor is that there's always this woman in this blue hoodie. And, but is at this point, we've seen her die. She gets hit by a train in 1988.
Yeah. And I think, how is she back? What?
Yeah. I mean, see, I don't really want to spoil anything else about who this woman is or what she's doing.
That's why I feel kind of lost for words, because it was such a good story. And it's hard to talk about certain things without spoiling it. But
I know we said spoil one, but I really think this is a movie that you just need to watch yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, without giving away anything, what did you think about, the reveal at the end?
I didn't see it coming. I'll be honest.
No.
And especially how it works. They didn't like how how things were working in reverse.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so that's cool.
Yeah, it's definitely a great movie, and I would honestly say it's easily my top 5 Netflix originals. I think it's just a great concept, and you see, I was thinking about this. I think that it might work well as a series, but then again, and maybe like every episode is like maybe 5 years in the future, or something, and it's just like the same crimes, and every episode you get that little bit closer to finding out what's going on. And then it'd work as just an event series, so have one season of it, sort of run through those events and kind of continue with it. But I mean, that's not to say it doesn't fit well into a hour and 55-minute movie. I think it works extremely well.
Definitely. And like roughly every half an hour it skips forwards 9 years into the future.
Yep.
So each kind of time period gets its own dedicated kind of space of the film, and it's like you really grow with our main character.
Yeah, and see, this is a movie I've recommended to a few people. So, and every time I've recommended it, I was like, seriously, you need to watch this. Like, please go watch this. So it's like, they're like, yeah, it's not really my kind of thing, but I think the way that it's executed, even if you're not a fan of, detective thrillers, you've got the sci-fi aspect. If you're not a fan of sci-fi movies, you've got the detective aspect.
Yeah.
And then if you're not a fan of either of them, you've still got that kind of mystery and intriguing storyline. I think they just do a really good job of just balancing everything.
Yeah. One thing that I would say about it is, I mean, it was a good length, the 1 hour 55 minutes, but I wish it was a little bit longer, or at least there was more time dedicated to the, this dystopian 2024 without giving too much away. I wish we saw more of that.
See, when you mentioned that to me last night,
yeah,
and see, I almost think that you don't need it. because I think it's still kind of like, you get these kind of plot points as to why the future was like that, and what kind of caused it, and the reason why, like, the specific people that are dying, are the ones that have been chosen to be killed.
Yeah.
And I don't really think that you necessarily need to see more of that future to kind of get a sense of that world. Like, it's really hard to talk about this without majorly spoiling anything, but
yes. No, I get you. I get where you're coming from, and I'm very happy with the movie. I loved it. It was so good, and I do feel like you don't need it because enough is given. And then I'm thinking now, actually, if there was more given to it, it might change the pace.
Yeah, and I think if this movie gets nothing else right, then pace is something that it gets incredibly.
Definitely.
Like, it's so well paced in the fact that, from what I can remember, as I said, I haven't seen this in a while, but there isn't really any kind of slow moments.
No.
It's just like, it's at breakneck speed. It's just, 1988, this happens. Oh, suddenly 9 years later, it's happening again. Suddenly, this. And I think it does just a really great job at just kind of keeping you interested.
Definitely. And it's definitely kind of, the lead character he's the guy you follow throughout the film. It's not, there are side characters, but it's not key to the main story.
Yeah.
And the guy who played the main character, what was his name? I think it was Boyd Holbrook.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
And he's been in some other films I've seen, like Logan, Gone Girl.
Was he in Logan?
He was, yeah. He was one of the bad guys.
Oh, yes, he was.
And I think that, comparing these two films, it shows his acting ability. Because in one, he was this villain who I just hated. I was like, I really don't like you. But in this film,
I think that,
I really connected to him, especially, he just doesn't give up, and
You know me, Bradley. Like, I'm a sucker for anything kind of like dark and tragic in movies.
Yeah.
And the facts that this like lifelong obsession, it tears apart his family.
It does.
Like his daughter doesn't want him there at the birth of her grandson.
Yeah.
Daughter.
Granddaughter. Child.
And you see, another reason why I chose this movie for you, Bradley, is because Detective Tommy, he reminds me of a certain original character of yours.
Funny you should mention that, actually, because when I was watching it, that is exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
There's a certain part, I think it's in the 1997 part, where he's got this kind of Tom Selleck Magnum PI mustache going on.
Yes.
And I was like, the mustache, detective, I know who this is.
The people listening to this, like, unless they know us, they have no idea what we're talking about. But if we were to ever do a fan cast of that character, I want him playing him.
Definitely.
Like,
actually, I'll name this character.
He just is that character. Yeah.
Oh yeah. If anyone knows me or Jake or some other friends, back from secondary school here, and there was this time when, let's say, I wrote some creative stories that were, looking back, were pretty damn awful, but one of the characters was called Frank West, and he was a detective, and, he had the mustache and everything.
Yeah.
And, Maybe that isn't a selling point for the film, but
I mean that's gonna mean nothing to anyone else.
No,
but,
unless you're a close friend, someone who knew me dearly back in the day.
To a close friend, yes.
Yes.
So something I want to talk about quickly is, as much as we're hyping up this movie, the score that it's gotten online is pretty bad. I'm looking at IMDb now. It's only on a 6.2 out of 10 with 32,000 ratings.
That shocks me.
And the amount of comments that I've seen and reviews saying that, it's predictable, and who the characters are right from the start. It's like, well, the characters that you're meant to know from the start, but the characters that are still meant to be a bit of a mystery and like, what are they doing with this?
Yeah.
Like, unless I'm incredibly just dumb, like, I found it still compelling. I was still shocked when reveals came and
definitely.
such.
It was so much better than I thought it would be.
And I don't want to, just, put down these reviews or sound biased just because I liked the movie, but I feel like a lot of these reviews saying, oh, well, the twists were easy to predict. I feel like that comes a lot from people just wanting to sound intelligent about this movie.
Yeah.
And
I'm too clever for this.
Yeah, it's... But no, seriously, if you haven't watched it and you want to spend, just 2 hours watching a new movie that's genuinely intriguing that you won't just fall asleep to, like, watch this.
Yeah. I dedicated my morning to this film. I was like, I've got to watch this for the podcast. But then it was, I wasn't just watching it because I had to. I was hooked. I was enjoying it. I wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
So, speaking of being hooked and not feeling, like it's a chore to watch it, with my movie, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have that opinion.
Yes.
So, this week, Bradley chose very, I guess, what's what I'm looking for? Like, relevant to the times.
Appropriate.
Bradley chose the 2011 movie directed by Steven Soderbergh. Yep. Yeah, he chose Contagion, featuring Matt Damon, Kate Winslet, Jude Law. Who else has it got in it?
Bryan Cranston.
Yeah. Gwyneth Paltrow. Oh God, I can never say her name. Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yep, and good old Morpheus from The Matrix. You know who he is.
Yes. Yeah. I need to say right now, I don't hate this movie. I didn't think it was bad. I just found it very kind of bland.
Yeah.
I guess.
I get that.
Because for me, every time it felt like they were getting to a point of, oh, they could take it in a really good direction. Like, I guess spoiler warning for this as well. Every time they got to a point of just sort of, oh, you could turn down this alley and do this, they just shied away from doing it.
Yeah, I get that, yeah.
So, in case you haven't seen Contagion, basically what's happening in the world right now, but I guess worse. And, well, I mean, it is worse.
Yeah,
like, it's a very dramatised version. But, yeah, it's just... I feel like there's a lot of routes they could have taken this and made it into a really good movie. But every time it gets to that point, it shies away from it. And, so about halfway through the movie, I can't for the life of me remember her name because, I'm not gonna lie, half this cast is pretty forgettable.
What? I think it's a great cast.
No, I mean the cast isn't forgettable, but the characters, I mean...
Yeah.
I feel like we never learn half our characters' names.
No, I don't think we do. It doesn't spend too much
Matt
time
Damon's
on them.
character... Huh?
It doesn't really spend much time on them, really.
No. Like, Matt Damon's character, his name's Mitch. I never got that from the movie. Maybe they mentioned it, but... I don't know. So, yeah, anyway, what I was saying, about halfway through the movie, one of the characters, I guess she gets kidnapped.
Yes.
Like, I didn't really get that.
No.
So she was kidnapped and being held there until they delivered a, the vaccine for the virus. And I feel like they could have made it into a really good twist of maybe, this is a weapon, like a biological weapon that's been developed, and they've kidnapped her to kind of, just sort of stop her from getting it out there or something.
But yeah, that would have been a good way to take it.
Yeah, definitely. And like when it gets to points where you think, oh, it's gonna be good. Like when everything's on lockdown and quarantined, when people are raiding shops, you spend about 5 minutes on that, and then suddenly, there's a girl dancing at a prom in her house.
Yeah.
So, what I find funny is that, obviously we've got all this like all-star cast. On IMDb, I guess it's in order of appearance, but as you're going down, above Lawrence Fishburne, there is Japanese busman.
Oh, everyone. Japanese busman. He's in all the films. I don't know what you've been watching.
I know.
Japanese
and he's
busman.
played by. I'm not going to try and read that name because it will end up racist.
Yes.
So.
And that's one thing we're not.
Yeah. So. I thought it was okay. I just feel like there was a lot of things that could have been done differently, should have been done differently, and yeah, I mean, if you're scared about what's going on in the world right now and you want to just mortify yourself, watch this because it will. And somehow this movie has, 200,000 reviews on IMDb, and it's got a higher rating than In the Shadow of the Moon.
See, even I disagree with that. Like, I watched this film again this morning.
Yeah.
Just to refresh myself, because when I've seen it before, I've only seen it from the second half, and watching it all this morning, I thought the second half seems like a different film to the first half.
Yeah, it's really weird. For me, it feels like, at the start, there was probably like, I don't know, maybe half an hour of movie that they cut.
Yeah.
Because you hop in and it's, day 2. I mean, I know at the end we go back to day 1 and it has that flashback of Gwyneth Paltrow's character in the casino.
Yeah, there's bats.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was the thing.
Those crafty banana eaters.
I mean, as I think it was Lawrence Fishburne's character, he says, maybe the wrong bat met the wrong pig.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have anything else to say about it, really.
Now, one thing I will say is that we've kind of already discussed on this, but it does feel like a bunch of different films mixed into one.
Yeah, it feels like... Let's say, this movie for me, it feels like it constantly gets to points where it could go really good, and then they shy away from it. Like, you could have this turn into, like, this really good kind of... Eventually, it turns into pretty much an apocalyptic world,
Yeah.
This virus has taken out everyone, bar those who are immune. And, yeah, it's just... I don't know, it just feels like they could have done better and bigger things with it than they did.
Yeah, it was... See, I recommended this movie. I gave you this as your challenge, and even now I'm a bit like...
You did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess... Tell you what, should we give ratings for the movies? So, what would you give In the Shadow of the Moon out of 10?
Honestly, I would go as far as to say a 9. I think 9 out of 10 for me.
See, I'm a very critical person. I'd probably say an 8.5 for In the Shadow of the Moon, because I really like it. And I do love that movie, but it's not perfect.
No
movie is really. I don't think it. In my lifetime, I've seen a 10 out of 10 movie.
No,
except from Captain America: Civil War. But let's not go into that.
That was a great film.
So yeah, I'd give it an 8.5. You said you give it a 9 out of 10.
Well, 8 was the first number that came into my head. But then I thought, nah, I'll be generous, so I'll stick with a 9. But I thought of 8.
Yeah. So, what would you give Contagion?
Maybe a 5.5 or a 6.
Yeah, I'd probably go 6.
Yeah.
It's for what the movie is, it's good, but it's not what I personally wanted the movie to be.
Yeah, I get that. So those are our thoughts on In the Shadow of the Moon and Contagion.
That was an interesting way of saying that, but we'll roll with it.
Didn't even sound like the same word.
So now we move on to the fun general discussion points.
Hooray!
So this first point that we've got in our notes here, this is all you. Take it away, brother.
Well, yes. So as we all know, and as we talked about last week, Disney Plus is out in the UK. Now, when it first launched, I was like, with everyone else, I got the free trial and I watched it every day of that trial. And then I paid for the monthly version, so I paid that. And I haven't watched it since. And that was...
You see, I was tempted by Disney's damn marketing schemes, and I bought the year version because it was discounted and I could pre-order it. And yeah. I mean, even though I've paid my, whatever it was, £50 for a year. I haven't watched it in a couple of weeks either. I know last week we both mentioned that you was watching old Disney Channel stuff such as Sweet Life and Wizards of Waverly Place, and I was watching The Simpsons. I haven't watched it in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, same for me. So I feel
like, but this is what I'm like at the moment. Like, I'll start a series and then I'll kind of drift off from it and then come back to it.
Yeah,
and especially when it's a series that I can binge watch. And I don't know. Like, I'm still enjoying it.
Yeah, I am too, and I just... Sometimes it's nice to have that unintentional break, so when you go back to it, you're like, oh wow, it's all this.
Yeah. I think especially with the kind of shows that we're watching, there isn't a continuous kind of underlying plot throughout each episode.
Yeah.
So you don't need to be constantly watching it.
Yeah.
Like, with The Simpsons, rarely is it ever a 2-part episode, if ever. And same with the shows you've been watching.
Yeah.
But something I actually wanted to bring up this week is that I've given it a lot of thought and a lot of time, and I think I'm going to bite the bullet, and I think I'm going to start watching Ozark on Netflix.
Funny you should say that, actually. Because right before this podcast, I just finished watching Contagion, and the trailer for Ozark started playing. And I was like, wow, what is this? I'm going to have to watch that.
You see, it's 3 seasons in.
Yeah.
I've heard great things about seasons 1 and 3. 2 I've heard's a bit middling. But I've heard many, many things about the show, majority positive, and a lot of people have been saying, it's the new Breaking Bad, it's going to go down as one of the best shows ever. And, me and you were, I guess, popularity chasers, apparently. So we're going to watch the popular shows.
Yes,
and,
we are.
I'm going to start it this week, and by the next podcast, I'll give you my thoughts on however far into it I'll get, because I'm really, really wanting to start watching it. I've been thinking about it for probably a year now, because I always see the trailers pop up on Netflix. I'd say it's one of, if not their most advertised show.
Definitely.
It's always on the homepage when you go on the Netflix UK, on the Netflix UK. I'm good at English. So, I'm going to start watching that. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to give it a go. I love Jason Bateman. He's one of my favourite actors. But and
have you seen Arrested Development?
I haven't, but I know he's in that too.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of his movies, but not his shows.
What was that movie? I swear we watched a movie with him in. Was it one of your famous dodgy Christmas movies?
No, I
swear he was in one of them.
He was in one, but I don't think we watched it. He was in Office Christmas Party, which we didn't get round to watching. But he was in Game Night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, seriously. I kind of stopped watching Arrested Development for some reason, but it's really good. It's hilarious. There's a lot of like, you always see memes about it with the characters and such, and when you actually watch the show, it's so good.
Well, I've got more TV to catch up on now.
Yeah. yeah. So see, in our notes it says so obviously we do our weekly movie and TV recommendation, and for I think in our notes we've got In the Shadow of the Moon and Contagion. Now, due to what we've talked about, I'm going to change Contagion.
I agree.
And what other movie would I recommend? Well, you know what? I'm just gonna say we recommend In the Shadow of the Moon.
Yes.
We're trying to find other things to recommend, but we are struggling, which sounds bad, but So yeah, In the Shadow of the Moon. You've heard us talk about it for about half this podcast.
Without trying to spoil too much.
Go watch it.
You don't want to spoil too much of it.
No. But go watch it. It's incredible.
Yes.
Do you have a TV show recommendation for this week?
I do. I've been catching up. I've got a watch list that I've been catching up on TV, so I'm now on episode... for War of the Worlds, I've got the last episode to watch that I'm done. So I just want to mention that.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to spoil it, but a certain character died in episode 7.
They did.
That broke my heart. That was...
Oh, I know.
I didn't see that coming. I was so sad.
Yeah, it's see, I have the advantage of knowledge with the show that I have seen everything.
Yes, you have.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I've been through my grieving stage. I've come to accept what happens in it now.
Yeah.
So.
And the other show I've been catching up on is Westworld. Now I started that back when season 1 started, which was in 2016. Can you believe that?
Christ, was it?
It was October 2016. It started.
Yeah, it must have been. Was we still in school then, or did we start college?
No, we were. That was our last year of school. That one, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Wait, no, because we would have left in May, surely.
We left in summer 2017.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say, I could have sworn I remembered talking to you about it in class at school.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm still really behind. I think I'm about halfway through season 2.
Oh, I tell you what, season 3 so far. I'm on episode 4, and it seems like it's got new life. It's different, but it's Westworld. It's great.
Season 2 for me, I definitely didn't enjoy as much season 1.
Yeah.
It was still good. It was still Westworld, but where you had obviously the big reveals in season 1 and what happened, I feel like they I don't say they struggled to stop it, because obviously they did a lot of different things. I feel like they kind of gave the story that they wanted to initially give.
Yeah.
Immediately. But yeah, from what I've seen, season 3 looks great. Obviously, Aaron Paul is now in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, who got his fame from Breaking Bad and many other movies and television shows.
Yeah, and I'm not a major fan of his, and I've never watched Breaking Bad, or at least never. I think I may have seen a couple episodes, but
Bradley,
I'm sure people will agree with me. I can't be arsed for that one. Sorry.
Oh, it's so good.
It's
so good.
There's only one AMC show that's got my heart. That's The Walking Dead. Sorry, Breaking Bad.
Yeah. Oh, but see, I think you'd like Breaking Bad. I really do.
Maybe. Yeah.
When you get into it, season 2 and 3 are incredible.
Yeah, I think I watched the first couple episodes of season 1, and I don't know, I stopped, and then that was it.
It starts off somewhat slow, but it gets so good.
Oh. Maybe one day, Just like I've never seen Star Wars. I don't want to...
Oh, Christ, yeah, you haven't.
No. But I have seen some Star Trek, so I'm alright. I'm up there.
See, I'm more of a Star Wars fan than a Star Trek fan. Always have been, I always will be.
See, when people get...
I grew up watching Star Wars. But then weirdly enough, like, I grew up with my dad watching Star Trek.
Yeah.
Like I think he's much more of a Trekkie than a Star Wars fan. But, it's like,
people get
in...
Yeah, go on.
No, I was going to say, like, the year we were born, like, obviously we was in the midst of the prequels being released, and I was brought up watching, all the classic Star Wars movies, Empire, all of that. But I can't believe you. I'm going.
I just
I'll
thought
say something I don't mean.
I just thought of something funny actually.
Yeah.
Right. This is genuinely true, and you speaking of the Star Wars, being released when we were young, it's made me remember that when I was a kid, obviously I haven't seen Star Wars, I thought Darth Vader was a robot.
I mean, I can see it.
I didn't know he was, a
big scary robot man. And
I hadn't seen it. I didn't know.
Big scary robot man in black leather with a cape and a beating stick.
Right, this shows how much I haven't seen Star Wars, right? Or when I was a kid. I didn't know he had legs. Like, I don't know if he was on wheels. Oh God. Oh, it hurts to laugh, but it's true. I didn't know.
Had you never seen his lower half, or?
I don't remember.
You thought he was on wheels. Oh, Christ.
I mean, I must have seen something to make me think that. I don't know why.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, after this, I'm gonna go on Google and try and find something that would have made me think that.
Oh, do send it if you find it.
Oh dear. Please. I can't believe that. Yeah.
So your weekly TV recommendation was Westworld.
Yes.
I don't know what mine would be. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say Ozark. I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard it's good, so I'm going to recommend that, I guess.
Yes, and actually, I'm just going to say, Dad, if you're listening, watch Ozark. I think you'll really like it.
Yes.
Yes, because...
Yes.
Yeah, that seems like his kind of thing.
Yeah. So, that pretty much wraps up the main portion of this, but now we move on to, cue the theme music that we don't have.
Do. Oh God.
The not yet titled news segment.
Do.
So, do you want to read out what amazing article you've picked for us this week?
Oh dear, the credit's on me this time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, just remember guys, this is, a one-shot take. I haven't read this before. I read the title, but that was about it. Okay.
I've got the article open, and since you said Darth Vader on the wheels, I can't look at a wheelie.
It's great because this bin is black. Oh dear.
I'm just imagining him just sitting in a wheelie bin being pushed around by a fucking stormtrooper. And he's using the force as well in this picture. He's levitating.
Maybe no. I was gonna say maybe this is where I got it from, but unless I can do time travel,
it definitely isn't.
No, it isn't.
Oh God.
I think it was a toy. That's like some sort of toy. I think that's what. Yeah.
Sorry, we're going off on a tangent here, but Darth Vader on wheels. It's like Meals on Wheels, but. It's just a car that looks like Darth Vader's helmet. And like Hot Wheels.
Maybe that's what it was. I don't remember.
Oh my god.
What?
I found the most Asian looking Darth Vader helmet. Also, I need to send you a screenshot of this.
Oh dear.
I'll pull it up for anyone watching this on YouTube. I'll pull it up on the screen.
It's so alien.
Oh god. That's incredible.
Oh dear.
Anyway, back to our not yet titled news segment.
Do. Yeah.
I'm going to sound clip that and we're going to use that every week. So anyway, yeah, read the title of this.
Yes, because everyone knows I'm the voiceover guy.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Floating wheel. That was all.
Oh god, my chest hurts.
That was awful. I don't know what that was.
That was so dramatic.
I was going to say floating wheelie bin, but I realised in the title it just says floating bin. And then I was thinking...
Is that what made you laugh?
And then I was thinking, wait, I don't sound like... The voice isn't what I expected it to be.
No, I don't think it's what anyone expected, but... Yeah, go on.
Take 2. Oh, here goes, right. See, I feel pressured now. Everyone's listening to me.
You're reading text off a screen, mate. Like, you got this.
I'm trying to jazz it up, but I just can't do it. I'm sorry. I'll let you all down. I'll just read it now. Floating bin divides internet. As some say, it's the result of being in lockdown for too long.
There's a grammar mistake in this title. Some say its result.
Oh yeah. Huh.
So, anyone that's watching on YouTube, I'll put a image of it up on the screen now. Bradley, is the bin floating?
Yes. Can't you see?
So your voice cut out and you just said, see?
Yes, it is floating. I mean...
You see, I don't see it. I mean, I get it, but I don't see it as floating.
Well...
Like, it's clearly...
When I read what it was, I was like, oh yeah, I can see that now. But to me, it will always be floating.
I mean, no, see, I just see it as the bin with a puddle next to it. Like...
No. Right, that's it. This is sparking a debate now. If you're team Jake, the bin is not floating. If you're team Bradley, the bin is floating. Yeah.
I don't think it is.
And in next...
I mean, it's definitely not. Let's just clear this up. It's definitely not floating.
No, it is. I'm telling you, if Darth Vader...
Oh, God.
If Darth Vader is on wheels, this wheelie bin is floating.
Oh my god, it really hurts to fucking laugh.
Oh, it does. And look at that. Jeez.
Yeah. So,
this is so different to the first episode.
Why has the content gone so downhill that we're talking about a floating wheelie bin?
I think we reached the peak.
Okay, this is the pinnacle of this podcast. So, yeah, there's not much of a story here. It's literally an optical illusion.
Oh,
but
hold on.
Sorry, go on.
You see, there are some people in the world, like me, who will believe things they see on the internet. And in the article, they have written, just to clarify, the bin is not hovering above the ground. It is firmly on the pavement.
So you'll believe an article on the internet, but you won't believe me when I tell you that it isn't actually floating.
Well, I believe you now. The article just told me. I've seen it.
I believe it because the internet told me.
I've seen it with my own eyes.
Yeah.
Just like Darth Vader on wheels. Telling you it's out there.
So yeah, anyone that's listening, let us know. Is the bin floating, or is it on the ground with a puddle?
Yeah, because it's been in lockdown for so long, it's developed the ability to hover.
This isn't like the first time something like this has happened, like recently. There was that video with that guy on the swing where, you must have seen it. It's the, you couldn't tell which way the swing was actually moving.
Yeah.
So, and obviously we've had like optical illusions go viral in the past. We had the black and blue dress, which was definitely black and blue.
Yeah.
And not white and gold. So yeah,
we are the podcast for debate. That's what this is what we're doing. Debating things that matter.
like whether Darth Vader has wheels and whether wheelie bin's floating. So
it says here the last line in this article is someone else wrote, "I'm going to cry. I will find him. I will." I think that was me.
Yeah.
Did they reach out to me?
I'm going to cry. I will find. What? These are really like.
So not only is the bin floating, it's also a hymn.
Yeah.
Huh.
This sounds very kind of sinister.
It does.
Like, that's funny. Hidden in plain sight. Another commented they thought it was amazing.
Oh.
And then, of course, they're suspicious. I'm going to cry. I will find him. I will.
You see? Something's up.
So, how long into this podcast? Alright, so it's over now. And another kind of little news story I want to point out is that something that's been going kind of viral, especially in the UK with people we know. Why is everybody necking alcohol on Snapchat?
Oh. Here we go. We're calling them out.
No, it's not cool. I think it's just gone a bit viral and a bit of a global thing. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
No.
Is it just to pass the boredom of quarantine?
I think so. I mean, yeah. Or it might have.
Have you been nominated yet?
I have been nominated 3 times, and as of today, I have not recorded a video of me necking down a pint. For a couple of reasons.
Yeah, I mean...
1, I don't think I can do that. I've tried it before. 2, I'm more of a rum and coke kind of guy, and you don't down rum.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, we both are.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I put on my Snapchat story, if I can find it quickly. So I put on my Snapchat story, people necking Stella as part of a challenge, as if that isn't standard enough for us alphas. And, I mean, clearly, you and I, as the true alpha males of Great Britain,
yes,
we just neck pints all the time.
Especially Stella.
It's just, that quality beer.
Oh, I know people who drink that stuff like it's water.
If you're not from the UK, or you just don't know what it is, it's a very kind of middle-aged dad drink. Like, Yeah, so I guess in a little bit of other news, this week we've expanded our social outreach. You could be listening to us on Spotify now, or radio... What's it called? Radiocast?
Something like that. Yes, we are diversifying. We are getting out there. So
yeah, we are.
YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, hopefully soon Apple Podcasts, and some other ones as well.
Yeah. And We also have a Instagram now, which will be linked down in the description. I believe it's at Daily Weekly Podcast. Yeah. Where you'll get all of the hottest and greatest random images to do with the podcast.
Oh yes, there'll be some juicy stuff for that. I can tell you now.
Yeah. Obviously, we have our Twitter, which is at Daily Weekly Cast. So yeah, we're just kind of trying to expand our brand, I guess, of the Daily Weekly Podcast, trying to outreach to as many places as possible. You and I both agreed from the beginning we want to, have this podcast on Spotify, and now it is.
Yeah.
Even though we did nothing to get it there.
No, we got lucky.
So yeah, thank you to Anchor.fm for, putting our podcast everywhere, even though we didn't really give permission for it to be put everywhere.
I'm sure we did, or at least I did. I pressed the button without realizing.
I was gonna say you made the account, I didn't. But we're coming up just over an hour, and I think that's been a pretty solid podcast.
I agree. I've had a lot of fun.
So it's definitely been interesting. We've discussed some topics, and we're going to be here, next Monday at 6 p.m. BST, and talking about whatever other nonsense we have planned and have watched and have played and whatever. So
yes, tune in next week.
Yes,
the Daily Weekly Podcast on all good streaming services.
I just need to say, I don't like it when you do your American accent.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you enjoyed it. Like the video and follow us on Instagram, Twitter. All of that will be down in the description. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
And thank you for all the feedback on episode 1. See you later. Bye.
Bye.